We should probably talk about Rage to some extent. To some extent. Yeah, so tell us about Rage game. Obviously, this wasteland that you've got after the Apophis asteroid hits the Earth.
Yes. So, do you want to know about like the game or the story?
Probably more about the. Well, we'll talk about the game later on. I've got quite a few questions about the technical stuff. So more about the story and the world you've got going on.
Sure. So Rage, new franchise, new IP from id Software. We wanted to mix some elements, some gameplay elements that made it more than just this kind of corridor shooter. So the game takes place in the far future. It's about 100 years after an asteroid, Apophis, destroys most of civilization. You play a survivor from the past, somebody frozen in a small ark. And when you appear, the world has long basically forgotten about you and the ARC program. So you first need to learn to survive. You'll make friends with a settlement, Dan Hagar. He runs a settlement nearby. You'll work for him. Eventually you'll discover that there's these mutants and bandits in the wasteland, and ultimately you will fight against this authority, this kind of omnipresent military group that's trying to shape the future of mankind, and you will team up with resistance to take down the authority. And along the path you'll learn about yourself, why you're important, why you hold the key to stopping the authority, and those story elements unfold throughout the progression of the game. So we really tried to make a story-driven game, a lot of variety, have some elements like driving and racing that you just don't normally find in first-person shooters, and we all kind of wrap it together in this nice cohesive package.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the cars, why did you take the decision to make them more than just like transport in the game?
Well, when we set out to add that component to the game, we felt that we wanted to do something, like you said, more than just transport. Lots of games do that. And it wasn't that far of a stretch to go from transport to transport with combat and then combat to racing. And we worked really hard on prototyping and integrating the vehicle physics so they feel right. It's tricky. If you just make a racing game, you have certain vehicle physics that you work with. If you just have vehicle combat, you have a certain... But when you do them both, it's pretty tricky. But I feel that we really nailed it. And we've had a lot of really positive feedback from journalists that have played it, that have said, you guys did a really good job with this. So I'm really excited about it.
That's the thing. I keep meaning to try and get to it, but the queues are massive on the show floor to play it.
Well, maybe since you're a journalist, we could probably sneak you under the...
I'd appreciate it, yeah. Yes. I wanted to try and get it today before I came and saw you, and I'd had like 5 interviews today. It's a bit crazy.
Yeah, plus there's a lot of very comfortable blue chairs to rest on.
Well, you know, you've got to take the chance to sit when you can. Yes. You've obviously gone with this from the sort of the claustrophobic environment of your older games into a more open, much wider world.
Why?
True. Why did you take the decision to go so big with this?
To be different, really. If you're going to make a new IP, and you have that Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein legacy, you need to maintain your fan base. So at its core, still first person, id, classic, shotguns feel great. Yeah. But if you're going to do something different, do something different, and really blow it open. The technology has given us the ability to create these very unique hand-textured, hand-painted landscapes. So why turn the lights off when you have such beauty? So we really wanted Rage to feel different. I believe that when Rage is released and people play it will change the perception of the company, and people will really appreciate all the hard work that went into it.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the technology there. You've got this new mega texture technology, which allows you to do take the typical texture background and then drop new elements over the top of it. Yes. How much of a challenge was that for you guys to develop and bring into the game?
Yeah, that was again, like some of our previous technology advances, there was a steep learning curve. Normally artists make a single tiled texture and then they just repeat it everywhere. Sure. But now we built huge set pieces. We have some tile textures, but then we paint on top of them, so the tiling is gone. But it gave us a lot of freedom, but it also, it's like Spider-Man's powers.
Yeah.
With great powers comes great responsibility, so there was a bit of a give and take between how far we could go, how far we could push the technology, and what we could paint. But what the great thing about id Tech 5 and the great thing about Megatexture is it allows the artists to be true artists. They can literally paint on the world, and it really makes everything just pop, and it gives it a look that's very unique to Rage.
Cool. Given your kind of the history again with Quake and Doom, was there a reason you decided to go with the single player focus in this rather than that sort of? I mean, obviously you've always had single player experience, but you're also known for the multiplayer elements of those games.
Yes. I mean, heck, we invented deathmatch. We have some of the best multiplayer games ever. But again, we felt with Rage that we wanted this to stand apart from our other titles. It's a long single-player campaign. It takes most people about 15 hours to get through, and the multiplayer is different than what we've done in the past. We have the vehicle component, which is XP-based. You get unlocks, and you can race and drive and shoot and blow your buddies up, and then of course the co-op. And we felt that those two things were fun to do alone, and we thought wouldn't it be fun to do with your friend? So it just worked out well. It fits in with the universe. It helps separate it from our other titles. Yeah, we could. It would have been easy to do deathmatch. I mean, but why do the easy thing when you can do the new thing, the new exciting thing? And that's what our focus was with Rage.
Sure. And with the other new expansion you've made in this game, you've obviously got these upgradable weapons and the gadgets you can produce. Was that a real challenge to kind of get those into the game to make them feel like they were worthwhile rather than just little things you can add on? Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. We had lots of discussions in the development team concerning that. We did not want to make 250,000 weapons and there's only 3 of them that actually make a difference. So we believe that all the ammo types and all the weapons really have a purpose. And when you play through the game, you'll discover that certain characters react differently to ammo types. They have different effects. Some that you make, so you have to find the pieces or buy them or sacrifice making something else to get those ammo types. So there's a lot of choice, a lot of variety, and it really worked out well because it's taken these classic id weapons that everyone loves and it's given them a lot of change and a lot of different options. Yeah, I mean, because I saw the Rage presentation last year, that was one day at the show, I think, and seeing kind of the flexibility that you built into it was absolutely incredible. How do you feel with, obviously you've been working this for a while now, and games like Borderlands and Fallout have come out since. How do you feel about the comparisons to those games? Well, I haven't actually played Borderlands, not even the second. Sure. And I'm a big Fallout fan because I love Todd Howard in a friendly sort of way. But actually, we have a Fallout 3 Easter egg somewhere in the game. Sure. So your viewers will have to find that. But it's always exciting to make games. I think once Rage is out, I think people will see that it's very unique. It has its own style, that it brings a lot to the table. And finally, was there, because obviously last year I saw the British anarchist kind of faction they've got in there. Was there a reason you brought these guys in? I mean, it's very cool. You've got all these very unique enemies in there. You've got the sort of ninja kind of ghost guys. Yeah, those guys, and you've got more the more thug kind of British characters. I mean, was there a reason you went for this kind of variety this time to go bigger to match the huge world you've built? Yes, you're absolutely correct. We have each of the bandit clans has a unique personality, and so yes, we have the British guys, with the bad British accents, which are my favorite. They're the wasted guys. But then we have like the gearheads, and they are very Russian. They have Russian accents because we have a Russian level designer that said we should make Russians. So it really gives a lot of life and color and fun, and they each have their own unique fighting style. So like the British guys, they'll rush you, but they have a high degree of fear, and they'll run away. Whereas like the shrouded guys, they won't rush you, and they have no fear, so they hold their ground. The ghost guys, of course, they'll
very acrobatic. They'll rush you, but they have no fear, so they'll stay right on top of you and try to melee you. And what that does is it gives a lot of variety. So you're not just fighting the same, because they're humans.
Yeah.
So how many different ways can humans do stuff? But this allows us to give personality, give variety, make it fun, make it different, and it's really kind of spiced up the whole game.
Yeah, and you mentioned quickly there melee combat, and that seems to be a bigger thing in this game than it has been in your previous titles, kind of the more up close and personal. Why did you make the switch to that kind of, because obviously normally it's just, I don't want to say just in a barrel, but it's guns blasting, that kind of thing, whereas this seems to be a lot closer, a lot more personal kind of combat.
The ghost guys and the wasted guys get pretty close to you.
Yeah.
So that's probably what you saw.
Yeah, that's what I saw last year.
Yeah, but they're not all like that.
Sure, I think there's the variety.
Yeah, so it really came on to variety. We want some guys to rush you, sort of, whoa, some guys to, stay in a distance, like the authorities. The authority enforcers are cool. One guy will drop his shield, another guy will use him as cover and shoot out from behind him, and they'll stay away from you. And if they decide to rush you, then you're in big trouble. So it's all variety. We have some really robust AI. We worked really hard to make it to make the AI very, very fun and change it up as you play.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for talking to us, Tim. Rage certainly sounds like it's going to be an interesting game towards the close of this year, and I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it and playing the fuller title. So this has been Chris for TSA at EGX talking to Tim Willits about Rage.